Well, I'm about to show you the fastest way to burn off body fat and 4 simple steps that anybody can do, including you. Yes, they're simple, you can do them, so we're gonna dive right in. Right now I'm gonna explain what's going on and then we'll get into the steps. So you want to stay until the end and I'm gonna show you everything you need to do. So let's rock and roll. So first of all, how the heck does fat burning work? Because a lot of people say the only way to burn fat is a calorie deficit. And you know what? That is not true. That is one way you can get your body to burn fat, but it's probably one of the worst ways because it wrecks your body, causes all these things to slow down, causes your metabolism to slow down, and you develop something called repressed metabolic syndrome. If you do it right, you won't have to go into a calorie restriction or deficit, and you'll still get your body to burn fat. And you'll never feel hungry, your energy won't go down, you won't hurt your metabolism or thyroid, you'll feel full all the time, you won't even know you're losing weight, it's great. Other than everyone will be saying, oh my gosh, how are you losing all this weight, this is incredible. Alright, so let's talk about what happens. How does fat burning actually work? Well, you've got thousands of chemical reactions in your body. And so depending on what food you eat, at what time of day, and what combination, you can actually determine a lot of these chemical reactions, which will determine whether or not your body's storing the food you eat as fat or burning fat and building muscle and feeding your thyroid and liver and all sorts of wonderful things. But let me just simplify it really quick. So you really have, if you were to break it down, you've got 2 main options, really. You're either going to cause your body to store fat or you're going to cause your body to burn fat. Now, if you're causing your body to store fat, you can't eat as much. This is why so many people have to restrict calories. They're causing the wrong chemical reactions. If you're causing your body to burn fat, you can eat a lot more. That food never even makes it to your fat cells. So even though you're eating more, you can still burn fat. Now, a lot of people may be watching saying, oh, this guy's full of crap, and that's fine. You're welcome to your opinion. People always send me hate comments for whatever reason. But, I've been doing this for 24 years. I've literally worked with thousands and thousands of people, especially women over 50, who have the hardest time losing weight. I'll just show you a couple case studies really quick. One client who I'm working with is named Jan, and for a whole year she tried calorie counting, macro counting, doing all sorts of exercise. I think she lost 1 pound. Working with me for about 12 weeks and applying what I'm about to show you, she was able to lose close to 17 pounds and burn off all this body fat while increasing her muscle. So you can just see, this is common. All my clients do this, okay? When you know what you're doing, you don't have to do these careless things. So let's get down to it. So here are the 2 basic things. You're either going to cause your LPL enzyme to be produced or you're going to cause your HSL enzyme to be produced. If the LPL enzyme is present and you eat food, normally your body would put that food into your muscles and liver, and it would be very helpful for the body. It would give you lots of energy, help you build muscle, help speed up your metabolism, help speed up your thyroid. However, if the LPL is present, what it does is it makes your fat cells really sensitive. So unfortunately, now when you eat, the body doesn't even try to put that food into the muscles and liver. It puts it right into your fat cells. And the LPL also causes this little shield to get built around your fat cells that makes it harder to burn fat. Okay, so now when you exercise, your muscles aren't getting the fuel they need, so you end up burning off muscle, and then when you eat, you store fat. This is part of what's called repressed metabolic syndrome. Now, on the other hand, if you get your body to produce HSL, that actually goes in, desensitizes the fat cell receptors, causes you to actually burn fat. It pulls fatty acids out of your stored fat cells, your body fat cells, so that you can actually use fat as fuel. All right, so those are the 2 main ones. Now, everyone gets hung up on this thing about insulin. Insulin is a double-edged sword. It's either going to cause you to store fat or it's going to cause you to burn fat. The key is, how do you use it, okay? You need the right amount of insulin. The right amount is very beneficial. You can burn fat. The wrong amount will cause you to store fat. And this is where things get complicated. It's not more of this is better or less of this is better. It's the right zone. It's the sweet spot. It's like medicine. And this is the problem most people have, is they oversimplify weight loss and then they do all sorts of damage and harm to your body. You really ought to view weight loss as any other medical issue. If you had a thyroid issue, if you had a gut issue, if you had a disease, if you had bone loss, you go seek out a professional because you need a professional to understand how to treat that part of your body, how to treat that ailment. And it's the same with nutrition and weight loss. If you don't do it right, and you just cut calories and you exercise too much, all you're doing is slowly wrecking your body over time, and then it sets you up to fail. So let's talk about the 4 steps to lose weight fast and burn off body fat. How do you do that? Well, step number 1 is do not cut calories. Do not cut calories. This is so hard for people to comprehend. Let's just say you're eating a certain amount of calories right now. Let's just call it 2,000, just for round number sakes. And you're not gaining weight and you're not losing weight, or you're gaining weight extremely slowly, like barely anything, a pound every month or something like that. If you just switched what foods you're eating, the combination of foods at each meal, the timing of those foods, you wouldn't have to reduce calories and you would start losing body fat, plain and simple. If you don't believe me, just go to my website, look at all my case studies, hundreds and hundreds. Here's what you want to do instead of cutting calories. This is a much easier switch, and it'll start you in the right direction. Now keep in mind, this is a generalized lesson, so everyone's a little bit different. But in general, there's 2 things you can do. Don't cut calories. Instead, start eating whole foods. Stop eating anything that's processed, packaged, these convenient foods, things that have been ground down, pureed, etc. Don't drink your calories. Don't do that. Eat whole foods. Eat raw. Well, it doesn't have to be raw, but eat whole foods. So sweet potatoes, instead of mashed potatoes, for example. Eat an apple instead of applesauce, or don't drink apple juice. Eat actual whole foods. Number 2 is start exercising if you're not, or slightly increase the amount of exercise. This is a much better step to take initially than to cut calories, because increasing your exercise will actually have a little bit more of a thermogenic or metabolic reaction, and so that's a better first step. It's much simpler. Now, when I say increase your exercise, maybe by just 10 minutes a day, not much. You don't need much, and that is the first step. Now, step number 2 to really burn fat fast is don't cut carbs. Do not lower your carbs. You need carbs for your thyroid. If you lower carbs, you'll have this reaction where then your thyroid and metabolism starts to slow down. Your muscles need carbs. If you're not feeding the muscles, a lot of times your metabolism will slow down. So for the love of Pete, do not cut carbs. Instead, you want to change the type of carb, and you want to make sure you're timing them correctly. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a couple times a day where you can eat more carbs without your body storing them as fat. In fact, it'll just shuttle them into the muscles. One of those times is earlier in the day, and another time is immediately after any sort of a hard, intense exercise, whether it's a weight training workout, some sort of a high-intensity interval workout, which I don't recommend. But if you're doing that, those would be the times where if you eat more carbs, then your body is in a special state where it will actually put those carbs into your muscles, not your fat cells. All about the chemical reactions here. Now, you also want the right types of carbs. Well, there's 16 different types of carbohydrates. Some go to your liver, some go to your muscles, some go right into the bloodstream and are more likely to get stored as fat. Some digest faster, some digest slower. You need to know this. I've done other lessons about this, and if you want to check those out. So I'll put one up here where you can go and check that out. But you want to understand the different types. You need that. That matters, and this is what so many people miss. All right, let's look at the third way to really burn fat fast. Okay, this is very simple. Add veggies to each of your meals. I mean, this is so simple. We're not cutting calories. We're not cutting carbs. Okay, add veggies to each. Now, I don't count potatoes or sweet potatoes. I don't count peas or corn as vegetables. Those are not veggies. Those are actually carbohydrates. Beans are carbohydrates. So when I say add veggies to each meal, I'm talking about green leafy vegetables. This will do a couple of things. Number one, you're going to flood your body with great vitamins and minerals. Number 2, you're going to add fiber to whatever meal you're eating, which will help with digestion. It'll slow down the digestion, which will help regulate some of the insulin. Number 3, those vegetables will also offset the effect of your blood sugar. So that'll also help the insulin. And so if you add veggies to every single meal that you're having, that's going to be really helpful. Now, that might also help you feel more full. Now, the intent is not to eat less food or not to cut calories. The intention is to regulate your body and start causing the correct chemical reactions. This is one of the easiest ways to help start doing that. Now, you still have to combine the right foods at each meal, but adding vegetables will absolutely help. And if you just keep everything else the same, and all you did was to add vegetables to each of your meals, you would lose weight, plain and simple. You would start burning body fat without even trying. Okay, so that's step number 3. Okay, step number 4, the last step, extra water. You want to drink extra water. Water is so vital, and so many people are dehydrated. Now, I live in Colorado. It's even worse here because we're at 6,000 feet, plus it's dry, and it seems like it's almost impossible to stay hydrated. But you want to generally drink a minimum of 80 ounces per day. Most, if you're active, if you're in a hot climate where you're sweating or a dry climate, you probably need more, maybe closer to 100, maybe 120 ounces, something like that. Water is so good at helping with flushing your kidneys, digestion, helps your metabolism, it helps your body stay in a homeostasis, or it keeps your body in balance, helps with hormones, it helps with everything. And so if you're drinking water and extra water through the day, you'll feel more full, your body will digest better, you'll use that food better. When your body is hydrated, it functions better, your viscosity of your blood is better, so it can even lower blood pressure. It can allow your body to transport different hormones more freely, which would, again, help with fat burning. And so all of these little things, your body is like this rainforest. And so if you're just adding some of these things, it seems so simple. It seems so easy. But by golly, it is so powerful. These little things done consistently work wonders. Now, you can't just do this for a day and say, oh, it didn't work. You've got to do this for probably a minimum of a month to really let it take hold. Really, the minimum, I think, would be 2 weeks, but you ought to give it a shot for a month. These are 4 simple steps, and this is the fastest way to start burning fat. Now, one last thing. Notice, I didn't say just losing weight, because if you're doing things right, you might be losing body fat and gaining a little bit of muscle at the same time. This is possible, by the way, if you're in a calorie surplus. People say, oh, it's impossible to burn fat in a calorie surplus. Well, you can, because you can still get your body to burn fat while it's gaining muscle. Maybe your weight would not change on the scale, but you could still burn off body fat. And so really that's the name of the game, is how you look, how your body shifts, not just a number on the scale. That's one way to measure it, but don't get too hung up on that. This is about the fastest way to burn off body fat, not just lose weight. Anybody can starve themselves and lose weight, and then what? You wreck your body. You look terrible because you lose muscle. It slows down your metabolism. You want to do it the right way. Now we're going to put up 2 videos. You're going to want to watch these. These are going to go in depth into some additional tips about carbs, foods, timing, everything we're talking about here, so you can really start getting some more information. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I'll see you over there. Take care.